So here's what we're going to do is we're going to rig a toothbrush. Okay? Really simple, but that's going to allow us to model it and complete it in the same day. And rig it in the same day. Okay? So I'm going to start out by modeling my toothbrush. I hit F8. Oh my goodness, Maya is making my screen blink a lot. Okay, so I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is scale this, move this face up, and I'm just making a toothbrush. Okay, you got to go to Edit Mesh. Going to have to find all my old tools. Maybe they just renamed them. Insert edge loop tool. That's what I wanted. Insert. This is my handle. It's going to be the top of the toothbrush. It's going to be my bevel. I mean, this is not going to be anything spectacular, so don't get your hopes up. Okay, so I'm just making the neck of the toothbrush now. This doesn't need to be anything fancy, it's not the point. So I just snapped that face by holding down V and snapping next to a vertice, or middle mouse clicking next to a vertice, and that makes sure that face is lined up perfectly with this vertice which I snapped it next to. So if I move it out and I hold down V on my keyboard and then middle mouse click, it's going to snap it to line up with that vertice. Okay, it only did it on the Z axis because that's the handle that I had active on my translate tool or my move tool. Okay, click extrude. That's not the kind of extrude I wanted. That was I need the face extrude. Scale this in. This is going to be my bristles. Extrude again. Okay. You can shift, extrude face, shift right click is what I like to do. Or you can tear off your menus. You guys know how to tear off menus? You hold down your space bar, and anytime you go to a menu, it has this little dashed line on top. If you let go on that, it's going to tear off that menu. Okay, so there's my toothbrush. I'm going to add a little bit more detail to the toothbrushes real quick. Switch back to object mode. Insert edge loops. If I was concerned, then I would probably be more careful than I am being. Okay. So we go to edge mode, and I'm just going to select every other edge. That'll work. Scale these out a tiny bit, and then pull them out a little bit. Okay, so there's my awesome toothbrush. Okay, and then we're going to use a few deformers on this thing. First, we're going to need more geometry than this in order for it to bend around and look good. So I'm going to press Y to go back to my last tool that I used, which takes me back to the Insert Edge Loop tool, because that was the last one I used. You can see here. So the tool, the icon that shows up right here on your toolbar, if you press Y, that's the tool you'll be using. If you want to work in full screen mode like I do, all you have to do is press Control Spacebar, and it takes you to the full screen mode. Okay, so I'm going to add a few more edge loops so that this toothbrush neck can bend around. That'll work. Okay. So back in object mode. And I want to, first thing before you rig anything is you want to delete all of the history. So you hold down spacebar, go to delete by type, history. When you have the toothbrush selected, the difference is, if you look in this channel box, all this is history. All these poly split rings, the extrudes, tweaks, even that poly cube one, those are all history things we want to get rid of. So I'm going to redo my delete. I'm going to rename this. You'll always want to rename everything. Toothbrush, and if it's a model or it's a polygon, then I like to end it with an _geo. Okay? So it says toothbrush _geo. Now I'm going to rig it. And let me simplify my menu set. Hotbox, show animation only. And I'm going to create deformers. I'm going to use nonlinears for the most part to rig this. So the first thing I want to have happen is I want this toothbrush to be able to bend at the neck. So I'm going to use a bend deformer. And that automatically, turn on X-ray mode, it automatically puts it so that it is the full length of my entire deformer. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of my shelf because it's annoying. I don't ever use the shelf. UI elements, shelf. It gives me a little more room on my channel box. If I click on this bend deformer in the channel box where it says bend 1, then it has this curvature attribute. If I click on that and then middle mouse click, I can see how it bends my toothbrush. Okay? Well, I only want it to bend the neck portion of my toothbrush. So I need to resituate it so then the midpoint is right at the base of this first edge loop that is smaller than the handle. Okay? Now, it's bending to the side. I would rather have it bend forward and back by default. So all I need to do is rotate this deformer 90 degrees. Okay? Now it bends forward and back. Now I don't want it to affect the bristles portion or the handle. So it has two attributes on the bend deformer called low bound and high bound. So I need to adjust these so they affect less. In fact, I can get rid of my low bound entirely, and I want to